Yep.
Think our oh yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. Right. Let's see here. Okay. Now, for some tunes of some kind, and I gotta monetize the damn channel, so it doesn't matter half the time when I post. When it comes to post music, but let's see what we have here. We can let's try. Yeah, that. How about this? Will work. Wow, very good. Okay. Oh, we're here, aren't we? Yeah, some of you are. Hello, Gator Dog 44. Hello, Don. Welcome. Welcome. Okay, let's put that over here where I can see it. Put this one over here where I can also see it. Perfect. Okay. I think we're set up here. Let's that sucker up. Yeah, there we go. All right, welcome. Hello. Hello to all of you today. This is a little loud. Let's turn it up. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, so welcome to Head Empty Thursday. It's the day where I don't really have a topic or anything in mind. And if anybody is curious or wants to, they can mention topics or ideas they want me to interact with and chat. or you can jump on the VC on the server and bring whatever topic you want to the table. Hopefully it's something I can kind of chime in on. Who knows? If it's schizoid related, bonus points. If it's mental health related, bonus points. If it's anything at all that I find interesting in any capacity, bonus points. If I find it boring, bonus points. You just get bonus points no matter what you bring to the table, because today my head is empty and you can fill it with things that might trigger my ramblings, but I don't want to be the one that initiates, because I don't have the energy for that on Thursdays. I'm very tired. I've had a extensive day. Let me see. Worked my usual 8 hours. Had to go to a doctor's appointment because what's going on now? Let's see here. The depression is being impacted by my T levels, because I think they're a little lower than they normally are. So that's cool. Gained a few pounds. I need to lose them. So essentially, Doc says go back to gym and, stop having so many beers, which I will begin to oblige sooner rather than later. Another issue was I can hear better now, because unfortunately, even though it is TMI, oh my, the music is loud, isn't it? That's loud music. There we go. Even though it's TMI, for some reason I tend to overproduce earwax, which keeps me from getting ear infections, which is nice, but it tends to cause hearing problems if I don't get them lavaged at least once a year, every 8 months. Because then I really can't, it starts getting muffled, and my wife starts telling me that I'm yelling everything I'm saying, and that's when I know, it's time for an appointment to have some poor nurse pour or shoot hydrogen, light, sort of lower percentage, whatever, hydrogen peroxide or some shit into your ears with a plastic syringe. A poor sucker that has to do that. They're always friendly there where I go, though, thankfully. And then also I had to try to get, they can flush your ears. Yep. If you have an earwax problem or something, you can go there and they will flush out your ears. And it's gnarly, but it helps a few things. Sinus headaches, pressure, allergies, just overall pressure in your head, and your hearing improves to a significant degree, so much so that I jumped on my computer and I was like, wow, everything's kind of loud, so I have to turn everything down. So that's good. It's good. That's a barrier to entry, auditory wise. And the other reason I was there was talking about some side effects relating to my ADHD medication. And there was something else. Oh yeah, I was attempting to get an extended release version of I can never say this one. Propranolol. Propranolol. I think that's how you say it. Yes, it's a. Is that how you say it, Saintist? Propranolol. Yes. Propranolol. I can't say that word. Propranolol. It's just a tongue twister for me. I can't say it really quick. Propranolol. I don't know what's wrong with my mouth, but it just can't say it. So
the last one was pretty good.
Yeah, but I have to say it really slowly, like propranolol. I can't say it fast like you did. In any case, I needed an extended release. Papanolol. Yeah, papanolol. I needed an extended release version because of the agoraphobia of it. So hopefully I can get a hold of that. Brand name is Inderol. Oh, thank God. I'm just going to say that. Inderol, please. Inderol. Jesus, that's so much better. Indeed. Okay, anyway. So I need an extended release version because Unfortunately, the only version that my psychiatrist can give me over the phone, because it's remote, is the 10 milligram version, which when I do need it, I have to take like two of them, and that only lasts for about 2 hours. Kind of controls any kind of physical side effects of high anxiety and panic attacks associated with the agoraphobia. For those that don't already know, my agoraphobia is connected to being outside in big open spaces with no ability or nothing close by to retreat into, whether it's a vehicle or a house or a building or something. Even a really big, not very high tent would be fine as well. Preferably a home or a building with a roof that's not up too high. Parking lots and things of that nature, only for small periods of time before the fear sets in. But luckily, this Inderall allows me to kind of navigate those spaces for a little bit longer, because even if I'm psychologically uncomfortable, my body doesn't start attempting to produce that wonderful thing called adrenaline. So that's good. No heart palpitations while on that. Let's see here. LMT, you can get an ear lavage kit from like CVS if you're interested in doing it yourself. I use one, and it's the same thing as they use in the office. Yes, but I was talking to the nurse, and somebody else had brought that point up to me. The reason I don't want to do it at home, like say have my wife do it for me or something, is because if I'm in a clinic and my eardrum gets accidentally perforated, if it happens at the clinic, they can kind of take care of that as quickly as possible and do what needs to be done, so that I'm not in probably very, very bad pain for as long as I would with a perforated eardrum. Now, if my wife were to do it at home and she were to perforate my eardrum by accident, of course, I would be probably in a lot of discomfort, and we would have to probably rush to urgent care or an ER, and that's a bigger mess than if I just make an appointment and have them clean it and risk no possibility of that occurring. I hope that makes sense. In any case, I need an extended version, and apparently you can't get that over the phone through remote, because they have to check your blood pressure that day before they can make a prescription for it for the extended release, because I guess it's a higher dosage, but like it, feeds it to you over time. And it's pretty cool, because then that would mean that if it lasts for a few hours or like a good chunk of the day, I can go to something like a theme park, hopefully, with my kids, or something of that nature. So there's that. That's good. But I feel like this Strattera I've been taking is actually kind of working. It's really helping personally. I know some people had nightmares with it, or nightmare situations with it, but it's helping me significantly with my executive function, which is really cool. I can decide what I'm concentrating on a little better. So I've been using it for about 3 weeks now, and I've started seeing the difference. Even the last stream, which I did a surprise stream yesterday, I was able to actually play a video game and have a conversation at the same time. And that's something that I normally have a lot of trouble doing. And so that is good. So there's an improvement there. Hopefully that will translate to the streams to some degree. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and let the loose association go, because my schizo-spectrum brain just likes to have some fun. But I like to be able to stay on track if I decide to, and then if I don't decide to, then I just let it stream of consciousness. But it would be nice to have the choice available. So I think putting a little damper on that ADHD, switching from novelty to novelty, might help me quite a bit. So I'm hoping that's the case. I think that's all as far as updating you on my meds and what's going on in my boring life. Haha, hear you. Whatever makes you most comfortable. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes. That's all I can do, right? Okay. Let's see here. Who's with me? It's just you, Saintus, right? Cool. Hey, Saintus, I discovered some cool things about pharmaceuticals today that I didn't know, because I got curious. Would you like me to tell you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I didn't know. This is something you probably definitely know, but I didn't know that why it was that two things. Why it is that um, what's it called, drugs have such silly, goofy sounding names, and why it is that when they're on a piece of paper for like medical reasons, they have funny spelling where certain parts of the word are capitalized and not capitalized. Do you happen to know the answer to those?
No, I don't think so, actually.
Okay, cool, perfect. So if you look at a sheet of paper, like when you get discharged, or whatever, if you get like prescriptions on the sheet of paper they print out, it'll say something like the good example would be fluoxetine, right, which is Prozac. It'll have FLU in capital letters, oxetine in I guess what would be lowercase, right? And then bupropion, which is Wellbutrin, is BU lowercase, uh, and then the pro is uppercase, and then the pion is lowercase again. And the reason it does that, because I saw it on my sheet and I never thought it, and I'm like, I'm going to look this up. Apparently, it's because if a drug has another drug that has a similar kind of look to it, a similar set of words associated with it, they do that so that a doctor or any pharmacist can quickly look through a list and be able to locate them and not confuse them. In a way that might cause the wrong medication to go to the wrong place. So it basically makes it a lot faster for them to just find them in a list or be able to read it really quickly and move on. So that's why they do that. Because something like fluoxetine, the exclusive part of the name is the flu, but the rest of it is the oxetine part. There's probably a lot of oxetines, right? So that's the point. That's why they do that. The other thing about why pharmaceutical drugs have silly names is because they are. It's an attempt to make the names more universally recognized. So that way, if a doctor in Mexico sees what would be like Astrovatin or whatever it's called, the cholesterol one, or I don't know, whatever drug, whatever kind of pharmaceutical drug you want, right? If they see it, they know what it is regardless of what language it's in, because they use specific phrases and words that have to do with Roman something something, and it allows kind of an easier kind of country to country, language to language barrier to sort of be removed when it comes to pharmaceuticals. Isn't that interesting?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, even a Chinese doctor can see the word. I'm not gonna try this. You know, what Inderol? I'll say Inderol, and they will go, "Oh, Inderol, okay." Even if they don't speak much English at all, they can recognize that that's Inderol and they'll know what it is, because everywhere they'll call it Inderol or Prozac. So in China it's called Prozac, and in Mexico it's called Prozac, and in Germany it's called Prozac, and in the United States it's called Prozac. It's just Prozac. So yeah, it's to avoid certain types of confusion. I thought that was cool and interesting.
I wonder in Japan, like where they don't have a letter for each like a vowel and consonant, they have like combined letters,
It'll just say it in
like
English.
each.
It'll just say Prozac,
Right.
and they would see it and they go Prozac, and that's it. It would
Prozaku.
Prozac. So that would be it, and then Fluoxetine, and that's it. And then they would know what it is, and every doctor from all over the world that knows about common pharmaceutical drugs, or
Yeah.
most pharmacists are going to be able to see it and go, "That's the thing."
I guess, do they use like the Latin characters in China then? Like everywhere they use
I,
it
I
everywhere.
I I don't know how well that translates, but I know that they use the same things all over. So I'm guessing so. I mean, maybe a Japanese medical journal will say everything will be in Japanese, and then it'll just have a random, you know, Prozac in there or
Yeah.
Wellbutrin
Yeah.
or whatever.
They have three alphabets anyway, so throwing in another alphabet doesn't really,
That's fair. That's
you know.
fair. Okay. Brand name is in. Oh wait, I was reading the same thing. Okay, so Anyway, Saintus, you like Thursdays because you usually bring something to the table you want to talk about, don't you?
Um, yeah, well, I mean, that's it's
I've noticed you
I
show
mean,
up every Thursday for sure.
I
And so
um,
I'm guessing that's because you usually have something you want to ask about. And by the way, Andorol. Don says Andorol is that Southern backflip. Is get her done in the PDR. Jesus Christ. All right, yeah, Andorol. Oh, that does
yeah,
sound kind of Southern. It's time to Andorol. Like I don't know. Anyway, go ahead, Saintist.
yeah. Well, like today I had in mind like how biological do you think schizoid is? Like looking it up, I find the heritability is said to be 30%, but I mean, I'm not entirely
Sure.
sure. I haven't read the study how they measure that, and
How
what
biological do I
population sample.
think it is? Okay, well, I can tell you what I think it is, but I can never know what it is because there's definitely not enough samples to make any kind of decision.
Yeah,
But I would say that it's no more, no less than most other things, like other personality disorders, as far as that part goes. But um, because of my belief that it is a neurodivergent exclusive disorder, personality disorder that develops due to specific types of trauma and other things, I would say that the chances might be higher if, say, you have family that is either on the schizo-spectrum or autistic. I would say there's probably a higher
yeah,
chance of
yeah,
that sort of stuff developing in offspring. Because of the conditions that I consider important in that matter. Plus, something about because I don't know. See, that's the thing. They have done studies. They have done some work on how schizoids tend to have either parents or grandparents that had some kind of either were diagnosed schizotypal or schizophrenic or schizoaffective. There's somebody in the family that had some kind of schizo something or another. They have done some work on that. I don't think they've done any looking into about having family members that have autism and its correlation with
yeah,
people that develop schizoid personality disorder. I would guess that it's probably significant. Maybe not to the same
yeah,
degree, but I would say it's probably
yeah,
pretty significant. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, with the way the diagnostic criteria are laid out, right? I mean, like a lot of the criteria, on a autistic person would be probably more likely to meet, like not having any friends. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that seems probably more likely, but I guess it depends on the diagnostician, like whether because because that might be disqualifying, right? If they say, oh, these symptoms can be explained by autism, so you don't have schizoid,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
That's
it
kind
might
of
be some,
absurd. No, but I would say these symptoms can be explained by being autistic and undergoing these conditions. That's what I would
yeah,
say. It's a defense mechanism. It's a set of trauma responses that have to do with being neurodivergent. That's what I would say. But yes, that's what
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Do you think it leans like more to the schizo? Because like it does seem like negative symptoms seem pretty common,
I don't know if that's just my brain. Look, I would say yes, but that's only because my brain might just be do some word association shit because it's in there, it's in there. Like, how can it not be? It's in there. So,
yeah,
but but I don't know. I wouldn't know.
yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
know because
Well,
like
there,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah. I mean, there's like schizothymia, right?
Mm,
I don't think it's like officially diagnosable, but it's there are some studies on it. And that's I think believed to be biological because most schizophrenia is biological. Uh,
mm-hmm.
so I think the schizothymia is also thought to be, and that's basically defined by largely social withdrawal.
Yeah, yeah. That's the issue too. Is like that's why I have issues with schizophrenia because I'm leaning toward armchair wise that it's something that should be separated from being schizotypal or being schizoid, or being schizo anything, or schizo-spectrum of any kind, because I think that's a entirely different sort of cognitive neurological issue that can manifest in autistic people as well as people that are neither autistic or on the schizo spectrum. I think that's its own set of parameters and conditions and genetic components that are being affected. I don't think it's the same thing.
yeah,
I don't think it's oh, you go from
yeah,
schizotypal and become schizophrenic. Um, I don't know that there might be a
yeah,
correlation there. There might be some kind of increase in likelihood, right? But I've met
yeah,
a handful of autistic
yeah,
schizos, so like autists with schizophrenia that have
yeah,
contacted me, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's definitely not schizo, but he's
yeah,
definitely very autistic and also sees things and has psychotic
yeah,
episodes. So,
yeah. I think I think from what I've read, though I haven't found like an official source on this, it's just like on Reddit and stuff,
mhm,
like that schizotypal is the one that's officially considered on the spectrum. And I do know like
mhm.
if you have schizotypal, like you probably should avoid psychedelics because you might
Develop
develop it.
schizophrenia. That's
But
what they say, and
yeah,
I'm not really 100% convinced about that one, because I doubt they've
yeah.
necessarily been able
Well,
to like really prove any of that. Like that
I think
psychedelics, in particular, are just going to somehow. Uh, I could see it triggering somebody that already
yeah,
has a
yeah,
predisposition for
yeah,
that
yeah. I
sort of
think it
thing,
is
but
triggering.
yeah, but definitely
I think
psychedelics don't
I think
cause it.
yeah, I think the reason is because schizotypal is pre-morbid to schizophrenia, right? So
That's what they
like you can have
consider it.
schizotypal and not be at risk for schizophrenia potentially. Like I think
That's
there's
what I'm
some
thinking.
schizotypals
Yeah,
you can probably
I think
safely take.
most. I would say
Yeah,
most people that would be considered schizotypal
yeah,
are
yeah.
not going to
Well,
develop
I guess
schizophrenia, no matter if they
I
take
guess
psychedelics or anything else.
yeah, I guess that kind of has to be the case because schizophrenia is only 1% and schizotypal is like 3 to 5%.
Hmm. Yeah, and
So yeah,
that's what I mean. Like it just, and I think schizotypal people are just schizospectrum people that just are low functioning schizospectrum people. That's all I think they are. If you wanted to say like level one, level two, level three, maybe like schizotypals are like
uh,
level two schizos.
yeah. I also
And
think
like,
like
yeah,
there might be high functioning like a high functioning schizotypal that isn't diagnosed.
yeah.
Like
I mean, I would consider myself kind of like a high functioning schizotypal or a high functioning schizo, but it's just, and I have plenty of reasons. I think people can understand why I would say that about myself. There's a lot of things that I concern myself with that I would put conventional things to the test or risk, especially if I was alone. If I was like without wife and kids, oh, I would make a lot of really awful or materially bad decisions for the purposes of achieving goals that I consider loftier or more important on in an idiosyncratic way, right? I think I would probably make more quote unquote poor decisions. Um, like, I don't know, right? Maybe I'd be like, my head would be shaved and I would be like doing mantras or something while at the
yeah,
same time trying to
yeah,
save the schizoids. I have no idea.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, I read in one study, they were talking about in the discussion section, they're talking about like schizoid, like quote unquote, progressing to schizotypal.
Hmm.
Because like you start, you get so severe, you start not giving a shit what other people think and wearing weird clothes, whatever. But like that's one of the that's like
Yeah, I
kind of like
always
one of the
thought. Yeah,
main.
I know. I always thought that was like the dumbest thing. Like, I mean, because like for me, that's just like wearing weird clothes, doing socially unacceptable things in public, and I'm like, in my mind, I go, well, okay, one, where's the context, right? Like, what's weird clothes? Mismatching, strange colors, homemade and look just odd, or tattered or old or kind of stitched together. Are they, combining various pieces of clothing into one? Are they coloring their hair in different ways? Are they shaving their head in certain ways? Are they, um, to me, and the socially unacceptable part, it's like, oh, what is socially unacceptable? A lot of things, way too many things are socially unacceptable. right?
Yeah.
Like I told you about. I think you were here when I was talking to you about the Alleluia Man, right? Alleluia Man is socially unacceptable. He's going around yelling at the top of his lungs, Hallelujah, right at the top of his fucking lungs. That's not socially acceptable. He'd probably be considered schizotypal, even though his belief systems and his schizotypalness is very much Christian in nature. But I'll tell you right now, I bet the people within his own congregation, if he has one, probably thinks he's a little too much. He's a little out there. He's a little crazy, going around praising the Lord out
Yeah.
in public so loudly, right? But that's
Yeah.
my point, right? Like it just depends. But if you're doing something socially unacceptable, like pulling out your dick and running around, like okay, that's probably something nobody. I would say that's probably something most schizos don't want, or autists, or anybody wants you doing that. So I think it really has to be. One has to take into
Yeah.
consideration how much of it is cultural and so on and so forth when
Yeah.
we talk about odd behavior, socially unacceptable behavior. There's plenty of stuff that's
Yeah.
socially unacceptable in, I don't know, one country and not in another, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. Like I think, like with the religious stuff in particular, like that's very subjective. Like whether that can be odd or magical thinking, right? Like say you have a Scientologist, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
would they qualify? It might depend on the physician whether they qualify that as odd thinking, like magical thinking.
I was watching a whole thing. There's this really dorky professor dude that has like this playlist. It was like from 3 years ago. He does like this. They're each like an hour long, but he's a dorky dude, but he actually covers the stuff pretty well, pretty nuanced about abnormal psychology. And he was talking about like some of those aspects. Like one of the things I think he said in one of the first things or lectures he was giving, it was like, well, if you go to India, hand holding is like common. Like so in India, hand holding's like whatever, like two dudes holding hand, two women holding hands. People just hold hands that like each other, care about each other. Like good friends just hold hands. That's normal. That's like whatever. And here in the States or different parts of Europe, you're holding hands with your buddy. Oh, he must fuck it. You must fucking him. They must be gay. And so holding hands in public would be, depending on what country you're in, would either be socially unacceptable or there would be social assumptions being made, right? Meanwhile, you could be gay with your partner holding hands in India, and they're not going to just assume you're gay. They might ask, I don't know, or they might just assume, oh, those guys are really good friends, and that's it. It wouldn't be a thing. And so that's the kind of stuff I find really really funny. Like I've talked to a lot of Finnish people, and over there, like the way Americans are, or like the way Latinos are, like I'm Latino, whatever, and they're very social, normally very like talkative, very like extroverted. That shit would be socially unacceptable in Finland. That'd be uncomfortable. That'd be weird. Like, oh, you're just going around saying hi to people and trying to get friendly with people you don't know. That's weird. You want to talk and
Yeah.
talk at the dinner table? I don't know about that one. Like, there's like a lot of stuff that's different, and so I wonder, like, what countries would one person be schizotypal in and not in another? Right? I find that really interesting. Should bring
Yeah.
back villages and growing our own crops. What the hell, Gator Dog? Schizo's
Yeah.
coming out. I love
Yeah.
it.
There's some countries that seem like probably really good. Like I might want to move to one of those countries where being schizoid is like no big deal, like fairly normal. Like
I
it's
mean,
like that.
yeah,
It's
there's a lot of Eastern European and European countries. I know Poland's cool with a lot of that stuff. Finland's cool with that
yeah.
stuff.
Like I was hearing like I think was I hearing like Scandinavian countries maybe
Yeah,
like
there's more of this kind of socially more introverted, private sort of way of being. Even Japan's like that, right? Like, but you have to follow all
yeah.
the rules there. But it's very much like people just keep to themselves and you go about your business. And there's special places within the infrastructure in which you're supposed to
Yeah.
engage socially and not. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, yeah, something like that would be easier to navigate in some regards, right?
I like those like kind of cultures better because like it feels like more people are just polite. Like I feel like in the United States, there's just a lot of people who like don't practice politeness.
polite
and like
and polite are different. Like they might not be saying it, but they might be
right, but like
impolite and
you don't
indirect
always have
ways.
to like say it. Like you can still be direct and polite, right?
No, no, I know, but
Like
what I'm saying is they might be impolite in more unapparent, less transparent ways, right?
right,
So they might do shit like more passive shit if they don't like you, or they think you're weird or you're uncomfortable to be around. They might be politely declining your company, politely, outcasting you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those
I
things
guess I have a
happen.
different definition of it, yeah. Because like to me, like I do like straightforwardness, and I think like straightforwardness in a way is polite. Because
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. No, well, I mean, yeah. Most
because
people don't.
it's
It depends cultural, I
I
guess
think
too.
it's more thoughtful to like be honest with people. Like even if
Yeah.
you're gonna say something that might upset their feelings, it's probably better than like leading someone on or like trying to make someone else think something that isn't actually true, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. But some people like to be. A lot of people like to be sugar coated or lied to. I think that's very common. In fact, that whole like, oh, let them down easy. That's like it's exactly
Mhm.
that. It's a some people consider it polite or considerate to kind of couch truths in like less direct fashions or direct ways. I don't like that personally, but I find myself having to do it sometimes, depending on the environment and people. I don't consider
Yeah,
it bad. It's just
I
it's
will
traditions.
sometimes like not always be straightforward, but it's generally about like more lower stake things like um I don't know, they'll be like uh well actually no, someone asked me one time like, hey, like check out this song I made,
Hmm.
and I thought it was really bad, but I told them like what I thought was bad about it and how I thought it could improve. Like
Hmm.
there's like one thing I like about this song, and then like all of it is like kind of repetitive, kind of like weird. It doesn't like fit together, and they got really pissed off at me, and they just unfriended me. So I was
Yeah, I
like,
mean
damn. But yeah,
that's
I
how
mean,
that
I
that's
see
how
why
that
people
goes,
are
right?
not direct all the time because yeah, it will get some people pissed off at you. But like, I'd rather like not have those people around.
Yeah, I've had people get upset because I'm like, yeah, it's not really like my kind of music or something, or oh, that's cool. I mean, I can see you put a lot of work into it, but it's not something I'm into. Or I'll focus on because when somebody asks me if something's good or what do you think, I'll focus on the kind of technical aspects that I can think of, um, and not so much on. I'll try to remove my personal taste from my kind of review of something that somebody's asking me about because I know,
Gotcha.
you know what I mean. Like I don't like if somebody told me, hey, listen to this song I made and it's like some genre I don't like particularly enjoy. I feel it's a little bit. Well, I would be like, well, I probably might mention like I'm probably not the good person to be asking because I don't really like this genre. But if I were to
Yeah.
say, is this a good representation of the genre, I would kind of go. I can go with that, right? But I still wouldn't be the right
Well,
person to ask.
I've a hard time doing that with music because I mean, well, a lot of music is subjective.
Hmm.
But like, I mean, they were playing something like a genre that I was into. I guess it's just
That's
I just
even
didn't like
worse.
it. They're like, "Well, did you like it?" And I was like, "Well, I don't really like it." But I'll tell you why. Like, here's what I think
Oh no, that made it
could be better
worse.
about it.
They didn't want to know why.
But oh
Uh,
my god,
they
like
didn't want to know why. They wanted to know why you
they
liked it. If you didn't like it, they wanted you to shut the fuck up or lie to them. That's what they wanted.
no, it was like the way they came to me about it was like they wanted my honest feedback, and then when I gave them my honest feedback, they were just really pissed. So I was like, I feel like I can't win.
Honest feedback.
People be babies. What can I say?
Yeah.
People be babies sometimes. You can't handle that sort of stuff. 100% agree. I think giving brutal, honest feedback is way better than just silently isolating someone without giving them feedback to improve upon. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Drox USA Mung. No, Drox Among Us. Jesus Christ.
Drop USA.
Drock USA Among Us.
Drop
Yeah.
USA Radio.
But yeah, I get that. I get that. But I also understand the realistic situation that that's not what's considered healthy for everyone. I think a lot of
Yeah.
schizoids love it, but we also don't have certain types of sensitivities, and so it's hard to kind of make any kind of judgment, on people that would be sensitive or do want things sugar coated. They probably have certain not weaknesses. What's the word? Sensitivities.
Insecurities,
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of stuff that if somebody did to me, I would probably react far more negatively to than the average person.
Yeah.
Like somebody, I would get annoyed if somebody was being dishonest and sugarcoating something for me. That would piss me off,
Yeah.
especially if I'm asking for honest feedback, and then they give me like some wishy-washy bullshit. I'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, I asked you for honest feedback." That would be annoying. That would upset.
Yeah.
Other people might get wishy-washy feedback, and they might go, "Oh, okay," and they might think, "Oh, maybe they didn't like it. Oh, that's cool. They're being nice about it." Like that's what they might think. They're being considerate of my feelings, And
Yeah, I have a harder time taking positive feedback because of that reason. Because I don't always trust people. I'm like, are they actually being honest? Do they really like this? Do they really like think something positive about me? Because yeah, it's more comfortable to get criticism, especially if it's not something that attacks my character really or anything. It's just like, hey, this could be better, but otherwise it's okay. Then it's like, oh, well, that's probably honest. But it's like, oh my gosh, you're doing fantastic. And I'm always questioning it.
Well, yeah, there's that, and also the issue of somebody praising you for something about you that you don't give a shit about.
Right.
That's always, I think, that's a very common schizoid problem. Is like you get a compliment for something that you're like, I don't care about that. Like, don't compliment me about things I don't give a shit about when it comes to me. Or they're more interested, like I've talked about a bunch of times before. Like, if I create something and then I show it to someone, I don't want to hear about how talented they think I am. I just want to hear. First, that's me. I don't want to hear about how great they think I am in association to the thing I made. I just want to hear if the thing I made is of any use or good for what's purposes.
Yeah, I care about the thing, not
Yeah.
whether I'm good or bad.
Yeah, I care about the thing. The only person that should be worried about whether I'm good or bad because of it is me. And that's about it. They just got to worry about if the thing I made is good or bad. So that's more interesting or important to me. So I have more emotional.
And even then, it's not
emotional weight.
Yeah, even then, it's not an ego thing, right? Like you don't
No.
like feel good about yourself. You feel good that the thing is good.
Yeah, which then makes me feel good about the thing. But I would say, I'm not gonna lie, I would say that I might feel good that I was able to accomplish a goal that I set out to do. But that would be probably a good that's coming out of inside me about myself, more than because the praise was given, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I just be like, oh, I did the thing correctly that I aimed to do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I am competent.
Yeah. I suppose for most people, it matters who it's coming from. I don't think for us it matters
as much. No, not really. That's not quite as relevant.
It matters as far as or is there feedback relevant?
Yeah.
If someone was coming up to me and I don't know, critiquing something or telling me I'm wrong about something, I don't know, let's say I'm just doing my job and you didn't do that calculation right, and they work at McDonald's, I'd be like, shut up. But
well, I'd be like, prove it.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Be really prove it. If you can prove it, then I'm more power to you. But if you're just full of shit, then I would like to explain why that is. But
you give them a chance to prove themselves. That's the difference between us and people who are more secure, I guess, in their self-identity.
Would you say we give them a chance to prove themselves?
Yeah, you give them a chance to prove
Yeah,
themselves.
because I'm
Most
not
people, if they,
not worried about being offended, really. I'm more
Right.
worried about just like, okay, like, are you full of shit? If you're not, then cool. Maybe there's something I'm learning.
I'm just saying that most people, if they have an opinion, they would assume that whoever's challenging it is full of shit. They wouldn't even give them a chance to challenge it.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I don't think I would do that. I don't really put a lot of stock in uh professions alone.
Yeah, I kind of came up with a bad example, but
Yeah, that's all right.
I always hear someone out.
Your example was bad, Sarah. See?
It was.
But yeah, the whole kind of like I've talked to, like I said, I've talked to psychologists that know less than some people I talk to about things about regarding psychology that don't have any kind of degree and could put that other person to shame, like information wise. Like that's why I don't put a lot of stock in it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a doctor. It's like, yeah, okay, well, what kind of doctor, right?
Yeah.
Like,
You,
Doc-
you learn a lot of
PhD,
rep.
not very impressive.
what happened?
PhD, not very impressive. About anything.
What's impressive about a PhD is the amount of effort and discipline that required to get it.
I guess.
That's about it. Like, I don't really go like, oh, they have a PhD, they must be really smart at that thing. I don't like. I mean, and then they might be really smart at one specific thing in that thing.
Exactly. They
Yeah.
just basically spent like 4 years of their lives focusing their research and attention on one specific thing.
Which is fine, especially if you're an autist. So
I guess.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got the
You want to
tism,
spec all your points into one thing. That's go for
Hey,
it.
yeah, I mean that's the tism powers, man. That's why they're.
I think a lot of people here would like that.
Yeah, just spec
Yeah.
all into fucking. No, yeah, that's the thing I like about my autist buds. Like they'll spec all in on certain things, and they're happy about it. And they're glad for it. It's not like I definitely can't do that. I don't. I'm a jack. I like to be a
No.
jack of all trades, master of none type person.
I think. Do you have a passion? Something you're very passionate about?
Yeah, I'm fucking doing it right now.
Like really, really passionate about?
Yes, I'm doing it.
Okay, that's
Like literally how
like
like
was like a schizoid.
schizoid like support, schizoid advocacy, schizoid activism, neurodivergent sort of advocacy, the questioning of methods and how various forms of
Right.
psychology are approached. Yeah, that is me. That is my passion. Yes, I like to help. It took me like 36 years, whatever, to figure that one out, but whatever.
Well, yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah. I was into a lot of shit. I was just never passionate about most of it. Or I would gaslight myself into believing I was passionate about it. I did that a bunch
Well,
of
what's the
times.
difference between being into something and passionate about something? Is it just semantics?
We'll say it again?
What's the difference between being into something and being passionate about something? Or is it really just
Something
semantics?
can be there's one thing can fill you with curiosity and maybe there's some intrigue or novelty involved. Another thing will fill you with meaning.
Oh, I see.
I would say that's how I would define it. The activities I do here and the conversations I have and the information I get from others, hearing their stories, and then hearing that they're making progress towards some kind of self-actualization or whatever, and they dealt with years and years of not being able to accomplish that. Yes, that sort of stuff fills me with a sense of meaning. It's good
It
stuff.
sparks joy.
What happened?
It sparks joy.
It's not even about joy. Meaning and joy are totally different to me.
It's like a purpose kind of thing. Well, like not purpose, but like a duty kind of
It
thing,
felt-
like a dharma.
It just feels like something that fulfills my existence. Like it feels like something I go, this is what I was born to do, even if it's kind of an exaggeration maybe, but that's kind of how I would describe meaning. Like there's a lot of stuff that give me meaning that make me really tired, exhausted, and kind of sad, right? But
You're very lucky to have that.
Well, like I said, it took me 35 plus years to find it. So, and that's what gives me internal meaning. There are plenty of things that give me a lot of external meaning when it comes to like getting me up in the morning. Like I place a lot of meaning into say like my wife and my kids. Like I just fucking piles of meaning I put onto them. But as far as stuff that helps me put meaning into myself, it's this kind of stuff. Like I think to myself, what would I be doing that would be meaningful to me, regardless of my conditions? So whether I was in a timeline where I didn't have kids, or had a wife, didn't have a wife, or was more on a schizotype, like what is that core thing that would give me something? And that's kind of like how I think about it. And it's funny because like the person who, and I mentioned this before, but the person who actually like got the ball rolling on that, like who kind of changed my life by just existing and saying like a few phrases, was Eleanor Greenberg. So it's kind of crazy, and I remember the exact moment it occurred. And it was when it's in a video too. It's when I was just being open about a bunch of stuff to her, and I told her, just ask whatever questions you want, like use all your 70-year-old psych powers to like do whatever, and I'm gonna tell you about my like childhood and all kinds of shit. And she said that she said some stuff, and then she said that I want to be Spider-Man, because I loved Spider-Man as a kid. And I was like, wait, like when she said that shit fucked me up. I'm like, oh shit, I think I want to be Spider-Man. What the fuck? Like there's just some fucking inner child that wants to be Spider-Man. And I'm not talking about literally like, fucking web slinging and all that shit, but just what Spider-Man was, which is a guy who, well, it's not even just a hero, because there's a lot of heroes. It's a guy who is a character that's willing to just be treated like shit by everyone and everything and still do the right thing. He doesn't have very many friends. He doesn't, he loses a lot of people in his life because of his ideas that he cares about, and his, very sometimes private motivations, and both villains and heroes and authorities and so on, and they just dislike him and get angry at him or try to put him in jail, and then he just keeps on trucking. He just keeps on trucking no matter what. And that's funny. It's like, because every single character that I've ever liked after that, like that I just gravitated toward, being a freaking nerd and otaku or whatever, and all kinds of other comic book nerd shit, it's always been those characters. It's always the ones that keep on trucking, even if like everything's taking a big shit in their mouth, like they just keep trucking along. Like
people relate to those heroes, like you do.
Yeah, well, I fucking definitely relate to them.
Yeah.
That's why I grew up fucking loving
nerds. Their lives suck. I'm joking.
I know, but no. So yeah, I grew up with shit like Vampire Hunter D and Guts and various shonen protagonists. I like seinen protagonists more because they're usually getting shit all over, and they're still trucking, and stuff like that. That kind of stuff has always been like I guess characters with really kind of miserable, unhappy lives that still just fucking are being driven by some kind of principle or idea, and are constantly being challenged, and they're challenging themselves. Yeah, that shit's like, this shit vibes with me. Real big time. And I think that's part of the reason why I enjoy doing this so much, because it's such a pipe dream. I was talking to somebody, well, not pipe dream, but helping individuals is doable. Me, the larger scope stuff that I want, hopefully one day to occur, maybe not in my lifetime, is totally probably pipe dream and absurd. But I like absurd. I was talking to someone earlier, and I was basically explaining that like, it's just like, yeah, my goals are ridiculous. But I like to use logic and reason and all that good stuff to fuel my irrational goals. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, like it gives me the arguments and the ideas and everything else that I need to function and thrive to attempt to achieve lofty, probably impossible standards of things that I would like to help with or do. But I'm aware they're impossible. That's the difference, right? Or highly unlikely. Let's just say highly unlikely. And I've come to terms with that, and I resign myself to understanding that and still doing it anyway. That's how I feel about it. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but I'm trying.
I think it does. Like, something I used to do a lot was just kind of like set a way higher goal than what I actually kind of wanted in the first place. Because I'll just be like, I might as well shoot as high as I can because that's probably the best way for me to like make progress on this.
Oh, okay. That's a good motivating. I'm stupid. I actually want the thing. So that's
I mean, like, well, of course I want the thing too, but like what you said, like, it's impossible, or at least very unlikely.
Yeah,
And
but
so,
I still want to make it possible. I still want to try to make it possible. Like I think that's that magical thinking that my schizo-spectrum brain just like feeds off of a little bit. It's that sort of magical thinking, like there's some kind of something metaphysical energy, some fucking bullshit.
I go through those periods.
Yada yada.
Do you ever just like randomly like try to like see if you got like the force or something?
Well, no.
You're just like sitting there like maybe today.
Oh, actually, I used to do that in my 20s and in my teenage years. Yeah, I used to be like, what if? And then I would try insane shit, and I'd be like, nah, not today. And then I used to do that shit when I was younger. I don't really do that as much anymore, but it was definitely something. Like, I thought I was gonna get fucking. I'm like, is today the day I get isekai by getting hit by a fucking truck? It's like, no, not today. No isekai today is good, sir. Yeah. I'm very comfortable with my irrationality. I'm very comfortable with it. I mean, I think most things are irrational, but I'm very cozy with it. I was autistically obsessed with the Goblin Slayer for a while. He's very similar to what you're describing. I love Goblin Slayer. I fucking love Goblin Slayer. So yes, that's a homie. That's one of the homies is Goblin Slayer, for sure. Average infantry grunts that get shit on and push through the hell. Yep. Like if I'm talking Warhammer, I really like what's her name? The eternal fucking sororitas, Saint Celeste. She's a sororitas that basically has some pretty strong fucking emperor faith-based psyker powers, but she dies all the time because she's not like a space marine, and she just keeps coming back. But in order to like come back, she has to like keep climbing. She has to go to to the Immaterium, and then she has to climb a pile of her own corpses for all the time she's died, in order to come back again.
It's metal.
It's metal.
But it gets easier every time, doesn't it? Because
no, it's harder because the pile gets bigger.
Exactly. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, it just gets higher and bigger, and so she's died so countless times, in the countless ways that you can be killed in Warhammer, and then she just keeps on.
Memories.
Yeah, from what I remember, I think she keeps her memories, because there is a record. If I'm remembering incorrectly, but I know that there is. I remember there's a child version of her at the top of the pile of corpses, her corpses, that's basically waiting for her to eventually make the decision to stop going in. It's pretty metal. So like it's just chilling there, and it's just going. You going again? Like basically, You staying
I'd be
this
like,
time?
see ya, sucker.
Yeah, but she just keeps going nope and just keeps fucking going and keeps doing it. But it's like supposed to be a child version of her that basically is just kind of chilling up there, waiting for her to finally make the decision to finally rest. Pretty interesting. But yeah, she's badass. She's fucking badass as fuck. Just keeps dying. It's cool as fuck, man. So yeah, stuff like that's pretty crazy.
Would you want like multiple lives? Like
Multiple wives?
no lives.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I was like, I don't want a harem. What the fuck?
Yeah, do you want to
no.
go to Utah or Mexico?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I'm good. I don't want to be, what is this, sister wives type life.
I
But
definitely would want more lives.
more lives would be cool if I can keep my memories. Yes. Otherwise,
so you
it's just
want to keep your
reincarnation.
memories? Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
Otherwise,
What's
it's just
wrong with that?
reincarnation. I don't want reincarnation.
The only problem
Boring.
with like keeping your memories is like, okay, what if one of your lives is like super fucking traumatic?
No, I want it. Give me all. Let it all be with me. I want it all.
All right.
My life has been in
Wait.
in many ways super traumatic. I
If
don't
you
want
kept
to. I
your
don't want to
memories,
erase
you'd be
that.
like a superhuman.
Wait. Would you be able to like speak English when like you're like super young? Like a baby, like your next
No, I
life,
think it
you
was.
already
No, I
learned.
think it would be cooler if like your memories come to you as you get slightly older, and then you keep getting locked up because everyone thinks you're schizophrenic. But but hopefully you get to remember to not tell everyone each time because you're just gonna get locked up. But yeah, or something of that nature would be interesting. Or it'd be better just to come back, but like not as a baby. You just like come back as like a 20-year-old, whatever. It'd be cool to come back as a 20-year-old man or woman each time. That'd be rad.
I think that would be.
Everyone
too
likes
easy. I
20.
think you gotta work for it if you're gonna have eternal life.
What
There's
happened?
got to be some. You got to work for it if you have eternal life. You can't just come back, in a perfect body.
Oh no, but I'm not saying you get a perfect body. What if you get like random? You come back
No,
as
I
like
mean,
a
like,
fucking 600-pound
said it-
lifer.
You said a 20-year-old.
Oh, I just said 20 so that you can continue living the full life, the next full life. That's not because it has to be great or good. You just come back and then you go through old age and then or you get killed and then you do it all over again and try a different route.
So it's
And,
like Groundhog Day, but instead of one day, it's like a life.
Yeah, that sounds kind of cool. Sounds pretty rad.
Yeah.
But I don't like Groundhog Day because I don't want it to be the same timeline. That'd be weird. I want time to progress on its own. Because then that would suck because you're just in the same timeline over and over. It's fucking trash.
Yeah, you get born in World War II and you're just like living it over and over.
Yeah, you're
It's
just like, oh, fuck. You just keep getting drafted every lifetime? Anyway. Nah, it'd be interesting.
it's the
to
fifth
just-
time I've died in Normandy.
Yeah, I know, dude. That would suck. Just get drafted. You just die in different parts.
Maybe next time you'll learn how to duck bullets.
Oh, dodge bullets somehow magically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
guess.
warn them about Pearl Harbor.
Oh, yeah, you stop Pearl Harbor? They won't listen to you anyway. You're just some guy. But I do like the whole idea of coming back and then just trucking along and doing the next thing. Doing the next thing. For even cooler, if you keep your memories, you can further the same goal through multiple lives,
Yeah.
which is kind of rad. You could have
So
like
it's
super
kind of like
long-term
having
goals. Yeah, super crazy long-term goals. You'd be like, I'm gonna spend the next 500 years on this. That'd be pretty rad. I do like that notion. See here. I didn't know Schizoid was in my 40s. Thought I was just tired of everybody's shit. Yeah. That's funny. What else we got here? Only Warhammer. Okay. You stopped Pearl Harbor from happening, so Nazi Germany keeps sovereignty over all Europe. Yeah, right. Yeah. I was about to say that you stopped Pearl Harbor, and so then the U.S.
Oh
doesn't get
gosh,
involved.
never mind. Yeah, we gotta.
The U.S. doesn't get involved, and just becomes like two big old empires going at war.
We gotta join the Japanese. Then.
It'd just be some fucking crazy mess. It'd be some crazy mess. Yeah, no, it's okay. I think the whole like going back and I feel like the whole going back in time and stopping some certain terrible things from happening is just like, well, it's just a bad idea. And then two, for a lot of reasons, continuity and everything else. But the other reason is because I don't see it as any different than going back in time in your life and stopping a specific thing from happening to you, because then like you're gonna have consequences for that too, right? Like you're gonna have consequences for the kind of person you are. You essentially might be rewriting your personality or aspects of it or beliefs that you have.
And you don't get a save file either.
Yeah, and there's no save file. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you
I think
reload.
the only way that kind of time travel would work is if once you do it, it splits off to like an alternate reality, because otherwise you would grandfather paradox yourself.
No, for sure. And even then, like, then it gets weird territory when you're talking about consciousness, how that fucking works. Like, what does consciousness do when the splits occur? Does consciousness split, or does it create a new consciousness for that particular branch? And it
I
gets
see it like a software code. It just like it's in that instance, like like a machine learning algorithm that's like learned as a certain data set, and then you make a copy of it, and then they go off and become different.
Yeah, sure. Just make a bunch of copies of yourself. That shit's funny. I was actually.
I mean, we can clone animals. Like, I wonder how that shit. It's like what that's like for the animal. Like, we can't obviously clone humans, but
There is something interesting. There's a book I want to read. I've heard mixed reviews about it. There's a book called. Is it The Master Builder? The Master something? It's this guy. I think his name is. I forgot his name, but shit. But it's this guy that's into
masturbator.
Yeah, masturbator. Yeah. No, but he wrote a book about how he believes or he theorizes that the things that make you aren't actually in your DNA, but in the cells themselves, and that the DNA is just instructions for cells to follow, but the information for how they build and what they build is already inside them. So it's pretty crazy. Like it kind of upends certain notions, and so that's why it's gotten some criticism and some praise. But like, yeah, he thinks the cells is what makes a person, like what dictates what kind of person and what you're going to be and what predispositions you're going to have, not necessarily DNA and how it's.
So if I cut off my
weird.
hand, am I changing my consciousness?
I don't know. I haven't read the book. It's called Master Builder or Master something. I think it's more recent, but it sounded kind of crazy and kind of interesting. I want to see what the argument is. Let me see what it's called. I'll find it. Like, I was like, yeah, that sounds kind of crazy and rad.
It sounds... The way you're describing it sounds self-defeating, though, because you're saying, like, it's the cells that are really you. The genes are just, like... And I don't think anyone thought, like, genes are consciousness, either.
No, but like, consciousness or aspects of your consciousness constructed not through your DNA or what your personality is and isn't. It had to do with ideas about how if even if you cloned DNA of another human, then even if you have the exact 100% identical twins in every genetic capacity, and they were theoretically grow up in the same exact environment in the same exact conditions, they would still be different, like strong differentiating factors, even though they're like they technically shouldn't be, if everything happens in the same way at the exact same time.
Well, couldn't you just say it's a result of like chaoticism? Because like the difference could be then from like just the environment interacting.
No, but the idea is like, well, I mean, no, but the idea. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. The Master Builder. That's the name of it. It's by Dr. Afonso Martinez Arias. It came out 23. Yeah, I'll read the summary. I haven't read it yet, but Let's see here. A leading developmental biologist argues that cells, not DNA, hold the key to understanding life's past and present. What defines who we are? For decades, the answer has seemed obvious: our genes, the blueprint of life. And the master builder biologist Alfonso Martinez Arias argues we've been missing the bigger picture. It's not our genes that define us who we are, but our cells. While genes are important, nothing in our DNA explains why the heart is on the left side of the body, how many fingers we have, or even how our cells manage to reproduce. Drawing on new research from his own lab and others, Martinez Arias reveals that we are composed of a thrillingly intricate, constantly moving symphony of cells, but their long lineage stretching back to the very first cell, and their intricate interactions within our bodies today make us who we are. And so I don't know. I guess it's some kind of research that's looking into the cells basically carry a lot more within them than we originally assumed. But
I thought a lot of that stuff was genetic, like how many fingers you have.
Well, that's what's interesting. I think the idea is the number of how many things or where the position of certain organs is not being dictated by DNA. It's being dictated by something within the cell itself, the cells themselves. So it's like, oh, this is the blueprint on how to build a heart. The DNA doesn't tell the cells where to place the heart. The cells know already where the heart goes because they have something else in them that dictates it or controls that aspect that's separate from DNA. I think I'm guessing that's what it's kind of talking about. Here's one. There was let's see here. There's like a review on here. Maybe after watching Cells at Work, the anime, DNA is often claims to be the master molecule determining everything about us. DNA is now in our cultural DNA, but in masterful account, geneticist and developmental biologist Alfonso Martinez Arias shows that on its own, DNA is powerless, inert. It needs a cell to work its wonders, and that cell is always interacting with the environment. The cell's eye view of life is powerful and striking, helping to reveal why DNA is not the ultimate determinant of our cells. Identical twins are not identical down to their fingerprints. Fingerprints, handedness, and many other characteristics are not genetically determined. These clearly explained, beautiful book will change how you think about DNA, about how you came to be, and about life itself. I guess it's more about not saying that DNA, shouldn't be credited, but that a good portion of the credit is undeserved by when it comes to
my question
DNA.
would be like, wouldn't that, like, if cells like had knowledge, or I'm not even sure, like,
or some kind of built-in mechanism of some kind. I mean, they're not intelligent.
like why wouldn't they have the mechanism to like get rid of cancer, right?
Well, because that one's weird. Because I know what I understand about cancer is that it's essentially like essentially it's like
it's like cells that like are reproducing like way too quickly.
Yeah, it's kind of like a glitch in that whole system.
Or sort of. I'm not. I know nothing about.
It's kind of like the same way that like it's not the same thing. I'm stupid, but it's kind of reminds me of like the same way the way your body reacts to things inappropriately in order to somehow save you can kill you. So you know,
like autoimmune diseases.
Yeah, like autoimmune diseases or allergic reactions to certain things. Like your body will have like a go to shock or whatever, in some kind of attempt or overcompensation of some kind for a certain situation. Yeah, it's just funny. It literally just overrides its own its whole purpose, which is to kind of keep the organism alive.
Well, it works often enough that it was, evolutionarily fit to survive.
But you would think it would also, over time, be able to know how far to not know, but you know what I mean, how far to push it, or how much it can actually dictate the level in which it can do so, or have certain controls or levers essentially to pull them. Like why would you? It's kind of like having a. Oh, good night, baby.
So the reason why fingerprints are different for identical twins has to do with things like friction and stuff like that in their mother's womb. So that's why it's it can be sort of random,
Yeah.
and why you pretty much have like a unique fingerprint. So,
Yeah,
like,
no, I'm not saying what this guy said is
Yeah.
true. I'm just interested in what the argument is. I mean, it's kind of cool to think that, you're just giving more stuff more context, right? But you're right. There's definitely environmental factors that have nothing to do with DNA or the way the cells
Well,
themselves
that's-
are meant to function.
yeah, I mean, like, obviously, I haven't read his book or anything. I think it's interesting, but like,
I want to check
I think
it
a
out.
lot of his arguments or like things he brings up for like why cells are the determinant rather than chance.
Well, that wasn't him that wrote that last part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was just a review.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was just like a description of the book by somebody. So for all we know, they're not even like they're giving bad examples, right?
Yeah.
But the book itself says the thing about the heart, though. I think.
Okay. Yeah, I would have been surprised if the
how many
the
fingers
scientist
we
or
have?
whoever wrote that.
Yeah, how many? Yeah, he wrote. I think he might have written that part, the abstract for it, which is why is the heart on the left side of the body? How many fingers we have? That's probably something he brings up in the book as far as something that DNA does not dictate itself. Like the blueprints for where the heart's supposed to be aren't in DNA. It just knows how to. It has the information for constructing a heart, but not where the heart would be placed. I think that's probably the argument. Part of the argument.
But
well, I suppose one example is identical twins who split fairly late are mirror images of each other. So you can have the heart on the other side.
Yeah, that's really interesting, right? Is that really what happens?
Yeah. If they split late in the process of
They'll
development,
have their heart on.
Yeah.
Will it switch all the organs?
Yeah, and everything they'll normally like be left-handed instead of right-handed. Yeah, it's
But
like,
that's interesting because most humans are born with the heart on the left side, right?
Huh?
The heart. I mean, not left, but like.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so you're saying there's humans out there whose organs are essentially flipped because they were twins?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
position? Oh, that's really cool. That's really interesting. That's kind of crazy to think that like somebody. Oh, dude, what a cool. Okay, just gave me a really cool story for like a warrior or something that has their organs flipped, and so then like if like a story about like how when they're in battle, people aim for specific parts of the body, assuming that's where it would kill them, but because the organs are positioned differently, there's an advantage. That's kind of cool, right? Like so yeah, like if you stab somebody through where you think the heart's gonna be, you might puncture a lung, but you think you kill
you're still
them.
gonna fuck them up like.
You're gonna
very
fuck them up
badly.
pretty badly, but they might actually
You're just not
they'll be
gonna
able to
kill them
continue
immediately.
fighting. Like they could still fight for a little
With a
while.
punctured lung? I don't know.
Oh, they got the other one working. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But,
Yeah,
but
there's
if there's enough
I think
adrenaline
they
in
would,
them,
like, immediately go into shock.
oh, maybe you're right. What organs, if they were flipped, would you survive? Like, more likely if you got stabbed where it normally would, like, put you into shock.
I mean, the only other like organ that is not like mirrored is like the liver, but I don't think people punch the liver.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah,
liver punch.
and even if you did, it would be fine, right? The liver can like reheal. What is it like? You can cut out like 2/3 of the liver and it'll grow back, something like that. Like,
Well,
yeah, it would be fine if you stabbed the liver.
Well, I mean, but people bleed out anyway, so there's that
Yeah.
problem too. It's
Yeah.
not going to help with bleeding out. It might help for like
Yeah.
hand-to-hand combat. You can probably make up some fucking bullshit. There's some story
Yeah.
reasons or some bullshit you can come up with.
Yeah, I think the heart thing though was used. I believe I recall that in the show Orphan Black, where it's like about
yeah.
she's like a clone. There's a bunch of
Oh,
clones of
so
her.
she survived
Yeah,
something
and
because her heart's in a different
yeah.
spot? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No,
her
I just
twin- her
imagine that
twin,
shit in like a
got-
shonen or like something where like, like the hero or the villain gets, punctured with a technique through the chest, and the other guy's like, "How are you not dead?" And then he's like, "My heart is in a different place." Whatever. Some bullshit like that. That's absolutely. It's already been done, I guess. It's all been done. But that's pretty funny. I mean, Space Marines have how many hearts? Like, fucking 5 or some shit? 5 hearts and like 4 livers? They have like enough organs for like fucking like 5 humans. Something fucking stupid like that. That shit's funny to me. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Oh, stream's almost over. It's about to be 8:30. See, you guys did it. You guys succeeded. Thank you. You put things in my head, and then I was able to talk and to entertain possibly some of the people that are listening right now. Hopefully, to some degree. All right. By the way, one pop culture related thing. I watched an incredibly good fucking movie the other day. I'm almost tempted to rewatch it if and only if I get a few people to join me in watching it. Because I watched it last night with what's this called? Oh my god, I'm so bad with the names. Mask. What's his name? Mask. Oh, I'm so bad.
I know who you're talking about. I can't.
Yeah,
think of it
Mask.
either.
He has that cool avatar. Crypto Mask? Mask? No. What is it? Cryo? No. So many usernames. If I saw it, Masked Void, Masked Core. There you go. Yeah, there's a guy that sometimes shows up for movies called Masked Core, and I think they were the only one with me to watch it. But man, if I'll rewatch that shit. It's a movie called if you've seen it, then good on you. But if you haven't, it's fucking incredible and really fun. It's called Late Night with the Devil. Jesus Christ, that movie was fucking awesome.
What type of movie is it?
Huh? It's a horror found footage movie, but it's really it's not like your normal found footage. It's supposed to be like this. Essentially, it's like a cursed tape of like of a late night like show, like Johnny Carson and shit, and it's both funny in like ways that I don't know if are intentional sometimes, but there's a bit of dark humor in there, but most of it's pretty serious and gets pretty grisly and pretty crazy and really grim and super dark in a really like cool, fun way. But yeah, it's called Late Night with the Devil, and I watched it last night, and I was like, "Fuck! I wish there was more people here. This shit's fucking great." Yeah, but if anybody wants to join me in watching something crazy, if I can get at least 3 people that haven't seen it, I will play it again. And because I do want to watch it again, I want an excuse to watch it again. If anybody's out there that wants to join, would like to see a crazy fucked up found footage movie that's from like I think it's 2024, 2023. Go ahead and join me. I'll be in Angst Likes Awful Media, the usual channel where I watch weird shit. In this case, it's not awful. It's actually just really, really good. And if you want to support the stream or any of the work I do, whether it's Head Empty Thursdays or Schizoid Saturdays or Tragedy Topical Tuesdays or Topical Tragedy Tuesdays, or my videos on YouTube, if you haven't watched it, check out what is there. There's like the last 2 videos didn't get any viewership, which is surprising because I thought they were really interesting. And also Schizoid Vision interviewed me on her channel, so there is a video there where she interviewed me regarding marriage and relationships as somebody that grew up schizoid and dealt with all the weird issues when it came to like how I navigated that kind of shit. That's about it. But yeah, support me on Patreon, PayPal. All that shit really helps, guys. It really, really does. Okie dokes. I'll be on the server as usual, guys. Thank you for joining me, all of you, to chime in and talk about whatever it is you felt like talking about. And thank you to anyone watching, and anybody that drops some stuff in chat. Appreciate it. Always helps the conversation and stuff chug along here. All right. When day is dark, always